Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. They have made two specific signings thus far in free agency that I absolutely love. Now, the headlines will tell you, oh, the Bengals lost this, they lost that. Von Bell, Jesse Bates, a handful of safeties, and the big weakness, supposedly, was that safety position. So, not even bringing up Dax Hill, what does Cincinnati do? They come up with a Nick Scott signing, 3-year, $12 million contract. This is a phenomenal move. This is a Bengal move. I think he fits this culture perfectly, and it's basically kind of a move I've seen that has been swept under the rug. Bengals fans look to be excited about it, but I don't think the NFL is truly expecting the actual impact Nick Scott is probably going to have on this Bengals team. Last season was his breakout year. All right, he was with Los Angeles. You can tell that Super Bowl victory when the Rams won it 2 years ago in 2021 paid dividends for a guy like Nick Scott. He started in 16 games. All right, he had 2 interceptions, he had 5 pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles, and 86 total tackles. All of those numbers were career highs. He's been in the league for 4 seasons. We saw him more as a rotational piece in his 3rd year when the Rams won the Super Bowl. And like I said, this past year was his 1st year as a starter. Nobody's talking about Nick Scott going to the Bengals. This is a huge move. And you pair him with Dax Hill, you pair him, I mean, who knows? Free agency is kind of just beginning. We're like barely into the 2nd week. The Bengals could definitely still sign a veteran safety to kind of come in and help out. They could draft a safety. Who knows what exactly is going to happen? But like the Bengals roster isn't set right now as we speak. Moves are still going to be made. Draft's about 5 weeks away as well. Before we get any further into tonight's video, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. Bengals fans, I appreciate you guys so much. I haven't made a video since the Orlando Brown signing, and if we could get this video to 500 likes, that would be absolutely awesome. You know, the Bengals were a team that they were very aggressive last year in free agency in the offseason. I wasn't thinking this team was going to be all that aggressive. I was imagining they were going to like kind of fill in some of the holes, some of the players that they were going to lose, i.e. Jesse Bates, i.e. Von Bell. I wasn't anticipating the Jermaine Pratt deal coming back. I wasn't really expecting losing both Hayden Hurst and Samaje Perine. Apparently, the Bengals really wanted Samaje back. We'll talk maybe about tight ends later on in the video, but basically, the Bengals have lost a handful of players, but they've also made some huge additions. I've been seeing a lot of stuff going around that Orlando Brown Jr. is one of the best, or sorry, I should say, will be one of the best Bengal signings in recent franchise history. Brown had a 92% pass block win rate at tackle, which ranked 18th out of 64 tackles. I think Orlando Brown is getting also swept under the rug, and the reason being is because I got a lot of comments on my last when I basically broke the news or gave my opinions on Brown going to the Bengals, and I was seeing a lot of skepticism. And then I realized a lot of them had Chiefs profile pictures, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, that makes sense now. And when you see people commenting with Bengals profile pictures, or you see, some of my reoccurring Bengals commenters, subscribers, shout out to you guys, by the way, it's all, let's freaking go. Are you kidding me? A 6'8", 26-year-old former 3rd round pick in the 2018 draft. A former Baltimore, became a Chief for the last 2 seasons. He's been to the Pro Bowl. He has a whole bunch of other accolades. Orlando Brown Jr. is the real deal, and at this price, I'd argue he's a steal. But then I saw so many Chiefs fans saying, yeah, he couldn't protect Mahomes for anything. Keeping it a buck, he couldn't protect Patrick Mahomes. I'm thinking to myself, huh? I don't think that was the case. Orlando Brown Jr., especially towards the end of the season, was so vital to Kansas City in all of the playoff games and just at the final stretch of the regular season as well. Orlando Brown Jr. at that left tackle position, arguably the 2nd most important position outside of the quarterback on your offense in the National Football League. He's a big freaking deal. his all pros, his Pro Bowls, whatever it is, those are just complementary to the actual skill given by the eye test. Orlando Brown Jr. is seriously the real deal. And you hate to see it. Apparently he got given a huge, by the way, guys, he's a Super Bowl champion. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler. He's been in the league for how many seasons? 5 years. 5 years, 4 Pro Bowls? Yes, you heard that correctly. And by the way, the 1 year he didn't make the Pro Bowl was in his rookie season, and he didn't start in every game for Baltimore that year. He started about half of them, a little over half of the games for Baltimore that season. So yeah, 4 straight Pro Bowls for the 26-year-old left tackle. I could sit here all day and talk about how important the left tackle is, but Bengals fans get this, NFL fans get this. The left tackle is so vital. This is a huge move for Joe Burrow. Now, maybe it's not the flashiest move, and that simply put, it's just because it's an offensive lineman. Like maybe I can't think of a single free agent right now. Like, maybe if they got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, that would be a little bit more flashier than Orlando Brown Jr. But I would argue Orlando Brown Jr.'s impact on Cincinnati, specifically for this team, is going to be bigger. It's bigger than any possible free agent you could have signed. And seriously, I give it an A. At least this move is an A- at worst. Nick Scott, also phenomenal signing. I think Cincinnati has done a great job. And you got to keep in mind, this team does such a good job drafting. I am excited for the draft. I've been seeing, there are positions that Cincinnati needs, and there are positions Cincinnati is going to address in free agency. They're also going to address these positions. Draft, free agency, it doesn't even matter, really. But, I've been seeing a lot more Michael Mayer talk because the Bengals have the 28th pick. All right. It seemed like Michael Mayer's stock took a hit after he ran a 4.7 40-yard dash and a vertical leap of just 32.5 at the combine. Those numbers aren't ideal. They were not expected. And it does definitely look like Michael Mayer could fall in the first round to Cincinnati. This isn't a mock draft video, or this isn't even a draft video. I wouldn't be upset with Michael Mayer at 28 one bit. I wouldn't be surprised if they went DB. I wouldn't be surprised if they went defensive line. I wouldn't be surprised if they went offensive line. I wouldn't be surprised if they went wide receiver, if they went running back. It doesn't even matter, because I have full faith in the Bengals front office that they're going to make the moves that they planned on making. This team does a very good job at scouting and evaluating draft talent along with free agent talent. Pretty much all of their moves in the most recent years have hit in free agency and in the draft. So there's no reason for any panic. And the good news is I haven't seen any panic from Bengals fans. So honestly, I know it's not the flashiest offseason, but trust me, their last 2 notable moves in getting Nick Scott and also getting Orlando Brown Jr., those are big-time moves. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the rest of free agency. Now is kind of when teams start to make your depth moves. Now there were, Chauncey just went to the Lions like 2 nights ago, so there are some bigger name free agents, some starting free agents out there that will be signed. To be honest with you, I don't even really know what to expect from Cincinnati, because some of these moves I was not expecting at all. Orlando Brown Jr., I was not expecting. In retrospect, it makes a lot of sense, but it just seriously was a home run, huge hit of a free agent pickup. So, Bengals fans, let me know what you guys are thinking down below in the comment section. Do you want the Bengals to make any more moves in free agency? Anything about the draft, but specifically, what are your thoughts on Nick Scott and Orlando Brown Jr. heading on over to Cincinnati? That's it for today. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content, along with a couple of Bengals videos a couple times a week. If we could get this video 500 likes, that would be absolutely awesome. But most importantly, drop a comment down